that Biden is forgiving some of his student loans to Valley College. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to manage to get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian.
I feel like you just... Did the pot just go down?
I want to kiss you on the lips, and I want to take you to Italy.
There it is.
All right. So, I got up about 5 in the morning for some reason.
Oh.
Could not sleep.
We should have played Words with Friends. I was also up.
Went downstairs and turned on the TV, and it was on, like, I don't know, whatever, Me TV, whatever. They show all the old reruns. And I love watching the old reruns. They're not entertaining. There's no storyline. There's nothing redeeming about them from a storytelling standpoint, from an acting or artistic standpoint. But it was what we were doing at the time.
Drab familiarity. Yeah.
They would, if it was a cop show, that's what cops looked like. Yeah. And if it was a family show, that's what families looked like. And I walked in, I sat down, and I watched about the last 10 minutes of Highway Patrol. The Highway Patrol was a great theme song.
Was it a Chips knockoff?
Yeah, so they're different than Chips?
It would predated Chips by like 28 years or something like that. And the opening is awesome. And it also made me think of our friend who I haven't spoken to in a while, but the radio guy I loved listening to, Phil Hendry. Because Phil Hendry would always play the theme because one of his characters was from the Citizens Auxiliary Police, and he'd be busting women at a shopping mall for like wearing skirts and that were too high or whatever. Yeah, we got to get Phil back. Anyway, genius, classic radio. Always listen to Phil, but I'll just play you the theme. You'll know the theme song of California Highway Patrol. There was a whole episode about nothing.
Hard to see why it didn't stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Guys.
An industrial video.
But it's funny. Guys who had a job as like a truck driver, they dressed like a truck driver, like a longshoreman dressed like a longshoreman. A cop was dressed like a cop. Undercover, still had their own outfit. Like everything was its own thing. And what I started also noticing, every episode they'd come walking into the office and there was a hat rack, and the hat would come off and go onto the rack, and then the jacket, they were wearing a suit and tie, the blazer would come off and hang up too, and then they would sit down and they would light a cigarette. And then the boss would come out and go, "We have an incident on I-5," and they go, "All right," and they put the cigarette out, get up, jacket on, hat on, back out again. They get in the car, hat would come off, cigarette would come back on. Like it was hat, jacket, cigarette, on, off, like 13 times a day. Every time they came in, then they'd go to lunch, back up, hat on, jacket back on. Like they were dressing and undressing 35 times in a half-hour episode. They'd never get to the bottom of their cigarette. They'd light the cigarette. The boss would come in and go, "Listen, boys," and they go, they'd put it out. They'd go back out again.
Because you can't transport a cigarette.
No,
you can't. You can't walk. You could stand in one place, but you can't walk with a cigarette. So there was that, and then Dragnet came on right after that. And Dragnet, we've seen the movie, a lot of parodies, and all that. But the story of Dragnet is these were actual stories taken from the L.A. County court, whatever.
Right, police files.
And the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Right.
That's all they did, although they changed the names of the people that were guilty a lot of the time. I don't know. But anyway, it was the story as pulled from the file, as then sort of reenacted. It's kind of an interesting theme if you think about it. Mid-'60s, okay. I don't know, starting early 60s.
Cakewalk for the writers.
And they would go through the actual story. And this story was a story, it started with 2 people dead on a hit and run. Probably a drunk driver blew through a red light, killed 2 pedestrians walking along the side, across the intersection. And they needed to find the guy who did it. They found the guy who did it. So two dead people. They found the guy who did it, and the guy had an attitude. He was a businessman. I don't know. Maybe we can just start it from when he's talking to him. So they get him. So he has been drunk, and he's run over and killed 2 people.
Whoopsie.
And now he showed up at the precinct, and we'll see what happens with him.
Oh, that's a COVID thing.
Just don't say anything more.
Pause it right there. First off, the guy's killed 2 people in this car, and he wants to get down to Felipe's and have a dip.
Right.
Right? And he's checking his watch. Like, yeah, all right. So 2 people, right? Yeah, combined age, 150. What's the big
Way
whoop?
over
I did society a favor.
Yeah.
Sucking off the government teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Garagos is 67. It's like, he's dead. He's got 1 foot in the grave. Come on now.
I'd argue a lot of people still need him.
Richard Branson is way older than both these people. But anyway, he's just killed 2 people with his car. He's got a little attitude about it. We'll play it. So
That was
Monologue
amazing.
from Dragnet.
Yes.
you just have to think about drunk driving laws in the city of Los Angeles in 2022. This guy's been beating this rap
It's continuously.
for 30 years.
Yeah.
This guy's in his mid-40s. Since high school, he's been beating this drunk driving rap. Now he's killed 2 people. But we still don't have enough law to put him behind bars. He's out. All right, sorry, we'll continue because this guy's not done.
Oh, there's more?
Oh, he's not done.
Okay.
Now he's got 2 teenagers dead.
Yeah.
So his kind of argument is, I killed a couple of old timers that had 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah.
Now he's got the 2 teenagers.
Did I miss it? Are these his daughters?
No.
Because they're driving his wife and him. Okay.
I think that his wife and him hit the 2
A
girls that
family,
were
okay.
driving.
Hit the family or the 2 teenagers.
Gotcha.
But now he's
A man and wife.
He's got the 63-year-old and the 72-year-old, but that is the 2 17-year-olds. So now his average age is like 37 and a half.
Now how's he going to
Right?
get out of this pickle?
All right, well, let's see what. Now, this is true case file
right.
from Los Angeles. So this had to have happened. All right, hold on a second. Pause. How did
Come on,
it happen?
Jackie-O.
The guy you were going to leave because he was a chronic drunk and wouldn't stop driving and then killed 2 people while he was drunk earlier this year has now killed 2 more people because he was driving drunk again.
Yeah.
But this time you were riding shotgun.
Yeah.
And she finds it all hard to believe.
How?
What happened?
What
How
happened?
could this happen?
All right, number 1. Number 2, how committed were we back in the 60s to the dude driving?
A man and wife. Of course he's
Oh, yeah.
driving.
They can't go out any other way.
No.
But he's drunk.
Doesn't
He's a man.
matter. Doesn't
He's a man's
matter.
world.
He has a
Would you
long
rather
history
live?
of running people over drunk.
Would you rather be in the car with a homicidal maniac or be shamed by the community?
I was going to say, you make a good point, Adam.
It's an automatic. I mean, she has a Buick back at home.
She's got a vagina.
It's very shaming to have your wife drive.
I'm just saying, at some point, shouldn't they swap seats? Shouldn't she have thoughts about it?
What's next? She gets to vote? Come on, buddy.
She's got a license. She goes home, and the next day she goes to the supermarket in her car, right? She can operate
Presumably.
a vehicle. Why wouldn't... All right, but anyway.
It's an enabler.
She wants to know how it happened.
Okay.
All right, well, let's see what she has to say. All right, hold on a second.
He had drinks to get him to the cocktail party.
And he was...
We cut to the next scene.
You never want to be late to a cocktail party. 'Cause,
No.
You know, any cocktail invitation I've ever seen says 7 straight up.
Sharp. They
not
lock the doors.
708.
And he needed a roadie to get to the place where he'd be drinking.
There's a sign in the window that says no late admission. No late seatings.
Yeah, so he was drinking at the office, which is just
Yeah.
a standard fare thing
Right.
back in the day.
Mad
That's
Men.
a Larry Tate,
Yeah.
Mad Men kind of thing. But then also, did she meet him at the office and he'd just been drinking at the office? Or he swung by his house
by.
and picked her up to go to the cocktail party and then he got back behind the wheel even though he'd been drinking at the office? I feel like she could have intervened here in the death of those 2 teens.
If she wasn't going to leave him after killing 2 human beings, you think she had the cojones to be like, you out!
Yeah,
Get
you've
in the
been
passenger
drinking."
seats.
Well, I admire her dedication.
I think this is your monologue.
All right.
I
so
still don't
this-
understand the sunglasses. But
This
okay.
is they didn't want to do her up with the black eye makeup and stuff.
She couldn't produce any tears.
Ah,
There you
yes,
go.
the actress couldn't. They would always have hands bandaged up back in the day. All right, so this guy He's killed 2 people, and then a few months later killed 2 more
Doubled
people with a long history of drunk driving in the city of Los Angeles. Now, you get a DUI in the city of Los Angeles now, your life is ruined for a year. You got to blow into the breathalyzer to start the car. You get a suspended license. God knows how much. It's 10 grand by the time you're done with the attorney and everything else. But let's see, and this is an actual court case. Let's see what actually happened to this guy in the city of Los Angeles.
Time served.
All right. Now, 4 dead
Place
people.
your bets.
Almost a basketball team.
I mean, they recognize the mistake they made by letting him go off easy before. They doubled down this time.
Sure.
He's killed 4 people in his car.
Yeah. They got to make this right.
I don't know. Even if you retained Mark Garagos, I don't know what you could do with 4 dead human beings. But we'll see what the county of Los Angeles served him up.
You got to be committed to the lifestyle, man.
No time.
Wow.
4 dead people. No time. 0 time.
He has a higher body count than Charles Manson.
Yeah. Actual body count.
Actual committing murder.
It's essentially you took out all the kids from any sitcom you've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's Full House. All
Every
the kids,
Culkin.
Every kid from Full House is dead. You do
Both twins.
No time.
Yeah.
I think we've rearranged the laws a little bit.
Or at least put some wheelchair ramps in the prisons.
Yeah.
Now everyone can go.
Yeah.
You suffered enough.
Yeah.
So they say this is the case number, this is the court, this is the date. That's actually then what happened.
I guess I never really believed it. That's true. They really are pulling real case files. Because
Well,
I'm used to the parody of that, the people making fun of that.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, there you go, everybody.
That's great. Back when America was great.
And by the way, when he was getting his DUIs, now it's .08. It was probably .13 or something back then. You'd have to blow a lot to get to that point now.
Oh, that's amazing.
Back then. So anyway, I was enthralled.
I get it.
I hope this enters a whole new era of this podcast, the Dragnet era.
Yeah, I think we've closed the chapter on Love Boat for now.
You can find, there's a breakdown, Chris, where his soliloquies are second to none. And that's why everyone parodied them, parodied them. But if you go back, I don't know, toward the middle, he gives a nice explanation on what happens in a head-on collision. There used to be a lot of these
like PSAs
discussions. Yeah, in the first tenth of a second, here's what happens, and the 3/10 in, your head makes contact with the dashboard.
The last tenth doesn't matter because you're already dead.
Yeah, he gives, and they'll show some pictures of busted up cars. I'll give you a minute to look for that, Chris, because this is Friday at its best. First, let me tell you about electric e-bikes. Finally, an e-bike for everyone. They start at just $7.99, and the fastest growing e-bike company in the U.S. I'm telling you, I folded this thing. They fold in half, so you can throw them in the back of just about any vehicle you have. Took it to the track, had Sonny on it all day, every day. He rode the track up the hills, over the hills and the dales. He covered them both. Never stopped riding the thing. At the end of the day, when we were ready to head out, still had some charge on it. Just plug it in overnight, go back to the Airbnb and come back and ride it all day again. Affordable, customizable, ships free, pre-assembled, pre-charged even. Plus, they fold in half, like I said, no bike rack or truck necessary. It's just a great piece. And you can cover over, or I say, up to 45 miles at up to 28 miles per hour. Sonny got going even a little better than that down the hill. Batteries hidden away, LCD display, shows speed, range, adjustable power. It's all there. Electric e-bikes, right, Dawson?
Wherever your e-bike adventure take you, go to electricebikes.com and get $100 off any e-bike purchase. That's LECTRIC ebikes.com.
Did we find him giving his discussion on what happens in the first second of a head-on collision?
Was this show like in partnership with like the California Highway Patrol?
It reminded you of every student film you saw when he was breaking it down. Here he is having lunch
Are they like dinner?
with a reporter from the Herald Examiner, the old newspaper out here.
God, can you imagine being married to this guy?
Yeah, I know.
My driving instructor gave us this speech, basically. And
Yeah.
so I remember it almost verbatim, like, the last 3 tenths don't matter because you already did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it was.
They would lift it right off of this.
Wow.
The thing that was funny about this scene is they were sitting down with a reporter from the Herald Examiner for a breakfast meeting or something, and they showed like a close-up of the reporter's plate, 2 eggs, bacon, parsley. 2 sprigs of parsley, whatever. And they showed it. And soon as he got into this story, I was like, they're going to do another close-up as the guy walks away because he can't touch
Right,
his
pushes
food
his plate
at
away.
this thing. And that's exactly what they did.
Wow.
Chekhov's plate.
That's right. All right. We got
was
Eat Your
fun.
Feelings.
We do.
I know.
We need a palate cleanser.
We got trending topics, and we got all that right after this.
All right. So let's see. First off, Gina,
Yes, sir.
my condolences to you in the city of Kansas City.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, so Len Dawson's trending. He died at age 87 today.
And I only ever knew him as a sports anchor. I knew, but like I didn't know he was a football player until I was an adult.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was our anchor guy.
You
Len
know,
Dawson.
probably, weirdly, because this is how life works, most famous for a picture of him smoking in the locker room.
Yeah, so we have it here.
During
So
Super Bowl.
Handsome.
this
With a
is Super
Fresca.
Bowl 1.
That's halftime.
Halftime at Super Bowl 1. Yeah, so
This team lost the game.
it's an incredible photo. What's great about this is it didn't come out for like 45 years. It never made it to print. So what happened was the photographer was granted access to the locker room, and then he was only allowed to print it if the Chiefs won, and they lost. So it was just hidden, and then eventually, I think Time or Life put out a photo gallery, and it made the rounds.
It's a great picture.
Yeah, it's just that's what it was like. Because was it because Super Bowl wasn't as big of a deal as it is now? They're like, oh, it's just another
Health wasn't a big
Yeah.
deal.
To relax.
This is what people did when they worked.
He's just drinking sugar water and taking in nicotine. Like
Drinking Fresca.
Yeah.
I don't
Amp
know.
him up for the second
But
quarter.
I was watching Hard Knocks the other night, and they were at halftime, and the DB for the Lions, he was just eating pretzels, so it's like kind of empty carbs. But, these guys are in amazing shape and blah, blah, blah. But it's 2022. Like, don't we have some, you need a scoop of almond butter or some Vinnie
Yeah.
Tortorich-esque spin on nutrition, just eating salty carbs and going out there.
Surprising.
It is weird that it's 2022 and, you see guys are eating Skittles on the sideline and stuff. And then, this gets down to hundredths of a second. Like at some point, it's the fourth quarter. These guys are gassing out. Fatigue is setting in. Well, if you're carb loading at halftime,
You're thirsty as fuck.
shouldn't we have some mush, some compote, something that a scientist put together and you just go, look, I know you like Skittles and Starburst and pretzels
They're
and stuff
great.
like that. After the game, boys.
Yeah.
Got a whole week to eat that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that pretzel it's a game of inches. It's a game of
yes.
grains now.
Pretzels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to speak. But Len Dawson.
Yeah.
He'll be missed.
I know.
Was he was always with the Chiefs.
I played till the Chiefs till he was like 40. I think he retired
Wow.
after that. Yeah. And they won Super Bowl 4.
Nice.
So, but anyway, so we talked about in the intro joke, but the big news right now is Biden and the student loans. They announced that he will forgive $10,000 in federal student debt for most borrowers, up to $20,000 for recipients of the Pell Grant, and this is unprecedented. I mean, we saw during the Democratic election, or when
Campaign.
the campaign, excuse me, yeah, when was Bernie Sanders like, I want it all gone. And I think Elizabeth Warren's like, oh, we'll do it up to $50K, but Biden's like, oh, let's do 10, 20. And
Dip a toe.
And yeah, and there are people against it on both sides, or people for it on both sides. It's kind of interesting because a lot of the criticism is like, hey, I paid my debts, and now these kids they racked up this debt and they just get it wiped clean.
I'm
Yeah, but
under-
10,000 isn't wiped clean.
I know,
I'm undereducated on this, but wouldn't this destabilize like the Sally Mays of the world? Like, wouldn't it?
That'd be great.
Yes, that's a big
True,
argument of it too.
they're predatory, and you can make a case against them. But wouldn't this be detrimental to our economy? Like, what if a large company had $10 billion worth of income wiped away overnight.
Well, yeah, and they said it was going to affect, what, like 45 million people times 10,000.
Yeah.
That's a good chunk of change.
It's also kind of a class thing because the people who go to college are bigger income earners statistically. Why are we cutting them a break?
Because the student loan debt has outpaced what you earn, like in a salary.
All right,
I paid mine.
it's just give away. it's give away free shit, get votes. I mean, that's all this is.
And it's like, $10,000. Like if somebody wanted to hand it to me, I would take it and put it to good use. But that's like saying like you get 10% off this item. Like
it's
okay,
not
so
going to
it's
put
$1.
a big dent in it, but it's just the general. It falls under the general heading of. I don't like all the free school lunches and free school breakfasts and $10,000. I don't like any of it because it takes the onus away from you and it hands it to the government. And this is a trend. We're hitting our stride, but we're running faster toward those. Let government handle it. Government fucks everything up. It doesn't help you. And also, you signed up for it. That's what you did. Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't push so hard for having everyone going. I mean, imagine, they go, oh, it's $50,000 a year to go to. Imagine what $50,000 would do in a trade school.
My God.
Imagine how great a fucking welder or plumber or electrician you'd be after 30 grand worth of fucking trade school. We're going to need these tradespeople. There should definitely be some carve outs for that. I don't like it. But it's just trying to buy votes. I mean, and everyone's pissed because one side's pissed because they're giving away something. Bernie Sanders is pissed because you're not paying for everything. It's nothing's ever enough.
When you said free lunches, and you're right, that's still going on in public school. Can I please tell you what some of the more hoity-toity districts are calling it? Because I was at a parent-teacher meet and greet this morning, and the teacher at this very expensive school, public school in a very expensive area of LA, they don't call it free; they call it complimentary.
Oh,
as though we're all at a hotel together.
It's a boosh.
Get them.
It's still complimentary.
It's just get them in the crate, get them on the fucking government teat, start giving them free shit early, and by the way, it's all junk square pizza with meat-like product on top of it, but it's all bad. None of it's good. Handing out money, printing money, it's going to fuck up the economy, but it's going to fuck people's brains up more. And I say you sign up, you pay up.
Well, and also, wouldn't it be better if they weren't chasing this problem, because that causes the problems? Like you said, why don't they start working with these dipshits over at Sally Mae and Freddie Mac and whatever the fuck, and do it at the head and not chase it at the end and start handing out coupons for free money?
And also, when they do the now you buy an electric car, you get a $10,000 voucher toward the electric car. The electric car just goes up 10 grand.
Right.
They figure that shit out. Tuition will just go up by whatever percent or whatever money it is. They should really be talking. I know we've talked about this before. Someone should be talking to these institutions, these colleges, and saying, you have endowments that are worth $200 billion. Why are you charging? We just do this thing where you go, it's $50,000 a year. The average family makes $63,000. How could it? And everyone goes, well, then we're going to have to pay the college for it. Does anyone want to talk to the colleges and go, what the fuck are you doing? Why is this so insanely expensive? Why you have a war chest of, in some cases, Harvard and Yale and Stanford and stuff. It's like billions of dollars. What? Can't we take a little haircut on these tuition?
You're right. And on top of that, a lot of these universities like USC, I know, is a landowner. They own a lot of the dorms and whatever. Like the tuition, it must be 10th on your list of what comes in.
Yeah, well, so
rent and donations and whatever.
I'm all my thing is I'm all for a 3-prong approach. Like, all right, let's help pay off these student debts. Okay, but let's also see if we can get people into trade school, and then let's also try to figure out why they have run up such a debt with these colleges for this 4-year degree.
Right, yeah, because they're saying it is a combination of stagnant wages and then and the cost of higher education. But yeah, we should be looking at higher education. That's something that can be lowered. And
well, when gas goes up to $5.60 a gallon, Biden gets behind the microphone and he goes, "What are these refining companies doing? They're gouging." Like if beef goes up or gas goes up, the same people accuse the ranchers and the oil refineries of gouging the people. Well, if the price of a unit of college has gone up 7,000% in the last 40 years, why don't you accuse them of gouging? I know that's your constituency. Those are your friends over there. But no fingers ever pointed toward the colleges? No one wants to know, like, hey, fucking AOC, you're not interested how they got to the $200,000 worth of debt? We're just... If Gavin Newsom, he doesn't like the predatory check cashing places, right? He's all about them.
Yeah. What variables are being controlled?
This is what they're doing. They're predatory. Go get them. Yeah. Go after them. But those are their people, and they won't fucking go after them.
That's their alma mater.
Start bringing it up.
Well, I imagine they skate under the good guise of education.
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking. Who could ever say to Biden if he did that, you're anti-education? I'm trying to get people educated.
And also, we have to delineate. Like, if you want to go in there for 4 years and get your Chicano studies major, fuck you. We're not reimbursing you. There has no application in the real world. You need to declare like a nice STEM. You need to have a STEM. I don't know what you call it. Major.
Technology, engineering, mathematics.
Hold on, don't talk. You have to be able to define STEM first.
Science, technology,
engineering,
come on,
and
Gina.
math.
I want to help him.
No,
it's
I wasn't
sad.
looking for the acronym. I was trying to say, have a STEM major, and we'll help you. Have a bullshit major, and fuck you. You want to study dance, or you want to study. You want to study art, that's on you. You're not going to be employable. You can't pay you have gotten a 4-year degree in something that doesn't pay. That's your fucking decision.
Yeah.
This doesn't bode well for my concentration in kabuki and kyogen.
Right. Well, you can.
But I fucking paid it off through the glory of radio.
You can do it, but that's on you to pay back.
Yeah. And like there are people my age still paying their college debt. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's insane. So I'm with you, Adam. Anyway, let's bring it back to sports / food because we got an Eat Your Feelings segment coming up.
All right.
There's a video that's been going around of a baseball fan out there, New York Yankees.
This.
It's great. So he wanted a beer.
Yeah.
He decided,
I have mixed feelings.
Mixed.
And so
I do
what?
Too.
So he takes a hot dog and he pokes a straw through the hot dog, making the straw a hot dog, and then he'll sip the beer through the straw. And someone just caught this on video.
Who amongst us has to use a red vine as a straw?
Because that's delicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good argument. Yeah. All right.
And there he goes. So
as the debate rages on our Twitters, my thought is, I would never do this. This feels weird and kind of icky. That said, who amongst us has to wash a hot dog down with a beer? They're eating about the same time anyway.
But would you rather eliminate the middleman and have a beer-flavored hot dog or hot dog flavored beer?
Brats cooked in beer, everything cooked in beer.
It seems a little weird, but it does get
exactly. So my journey through this video that's disgusting, and then it started becoming more appealing. There's all these conspiracies. Like somebody's like, oh, this is a Kimmel prank. We're gonna find out about it in a week or so.
Oh yeah.
Another one. There was a group thread where a guy was sharing screenshots of his group text, and one of the guys like, I know that guy. I worked with him at a casino. He does this at the cafeteria there, and he does it with tea. And somebody asked him, why do you do this? And he says, I like the mixture of the salt and the fat with the drink. It makes it taste better. And with that description, I looked at the beer and the hot dog, and I go, I'd try it.
Yeah,
I'll try it.
Shot.
Well, it's simultaneously the straightest and gayest thing you can do at the same time. It's kind of like the rodeo, you know what I mean? It's gay and it's super straight.
There's nothing nerdier or manlier.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're sucking on a dick, essentially, but it's also the straightest thing you can do.
Sure, beer and a dog. Is he cheating out for someone's camera, or that's just how he sits? Because I'm trying to figure out if this is some sort of a hoax, too.
Oh, interesting. I mean, it's hard to say. This is the only video that was posted. Everyone's been sharing it from this angle. No one else took a video of the guy.
I don't know how often you guys go to sporting events, but when you're lucky enough to get that aisle seat,
you really
cheat
use
a little bit. You know what I mean? You get the elbow
yeah.
out there, get the knee out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Revolting.
I like this guy. I don't know if I could hang with him, but I like him.
Yeah, and I'll try it. I'll get back to you guys.
Is that a plaid Yankees cap? What is
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is.
Yeah, somebody sent me this or tweeted me just a picture, and it's just him
Sucking
bent
on
over on a dog. I thought he was eating it or something. I just said if it's a straw, I'm with him. And then later on, I saw the footage of him
Using a straw.
using a straw to go through the dog. He should get like a butterflied dog on there because they just crack it down the middle and
How's
cook
he
it
gonna
open.
suck it up?
Yeah.
Well, the straw is what's
Yeah.
doing the math, right? Then is the straw remain?
No,
he
he's
pulls the
removed
straw.
it.
No,
Oh,
he
he's
just wanted
removed
to make
it.
the
Yeah.
hole.
He yolks it.
Oh,
That's
he
the
just
urethra.
yolks
Yeah,
it.
he even sucked the meat out of the straw.
That's a man.
Oh, I thought the straw remained.
Oh, no.
All right, then he's
Yeah.
a genius.
If you want maximum hot dog exposure to the beer, you'd want to dice that hot dog as small as possible, right? Like
I'm gonna
boba.
fucking
Mm.
puke.
I mean, you want
Yeah,
maximum
boba.
contact.
This is a
No,
man
that's
of
right.
ideas
Beer
right here.
ba.
I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of people are freaking out over this guy, but
He's definitely single.
What?
yeah.
Can we zoom in for a minute?
I would.
Seems alone.
Yeah, I
This
wouldn't bet
is-
against that.
All right.
But speaking of baseball fans, also in Oakland.
Let me ask hypothetically. I have trouble going out to eat alone, but I will on occasion. I have trouble going to a movie alone,
Oh my God.
but I will on occasion. But I don't think I'd ever go to a sporting event alone. What does that say? What
I
does
don't
that
think
say
I've
about
ever
it
been
says
to a sporting
it says
event
you
alone.
haven't. Well, I mean, I
That's zero friends, right?
it may be, but I'll be honest. I almost prefer going to movies alone.
Yeah.
I've 99.8% of the movies I've seen in my life have been alone.
Yeah, and I've heard of people taking the step above, like, oh, I go to stand-up shows alone. I'll go
I've
to
been to
concerts
concerts
alone.
alone, yeah.
I've been to a concert alone. It's
I
great.
used to go to USC baseball games alone because they were like 1 in the afternoon on
Yeah.
Friday, and it's like let's
Plenty
have
of
some
open
beers.
seating.
And I like taking myself to lunch.
Yeah, have a me day.
Kind of nice.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Can't do it. But ball game, concert, no.
Do you think there's too many people looking at you? Do you feel too like in a fishbowl?
No, I just whatever my wiring is if you went to a concert, you wouldn't go alone. If you went to a sporting event, you wouldn't go alone. Theater, I used to do movie reviews for K-Rock, Kevin and Bean, like way back in the day. So
like to
I
hear
would
those.
go to the matinee in Burbank of, Up Periscope or whatever movie. I'm trying to think of a few that I
Down Paris.
down Periscope. Whatever I saw, I'd
Gio,
go
can we grab
there.
those?
It was a little bit of business, but you could kind of concentrate a little
Oh, yeah.
better and all that. But it didn't feel nighttime and social. I wonder if more people go alone during the day to a movie than a nighttime.
I buy that.
Like a Saturday night, that's
a date
that's
night.
not a lone movie time.
My anecdotal evidence says yes. Not just me, but
Yeah,
people I see. are
but
generally
concert alone,
I've done that
Yeah.
twice.
pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
good.
I'd ever do that.
You don't have to worry about the other losing the other person in the crowd.
a good point.
You get you're only paying for your drinks. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, I
What a
just
man.
never my thing. I can barely eat alone. I can barely go out to eat. I don't think I've rarely ever gone out to eat alone. Just wouldn't do it. I would go. I might go get the food and bring it home,
No,
but I
doesn't
would
count.
not sit and eat.
Really
at
kind
Right.
of take the time for yourself, sit at the table, relax.
It's great.
Yeah, I love it.
Especially in the age of cell phones now. You can just scroll and read.
Yeah.
Read an article, listen to. I like to listen to like a news pod or something. I have my sushi.
I don't judge, but I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Never do it.
Plus, you're well known. And
Not a
TMZ.
factor.
Adam
Not
Carolla eats
a
alone.
factor.
No
Sad.
friends.
Garrett
No,
Busey and
I
Adam
was-
Carolla.
I was much more when I was 20 and far less famous. I mean, I was a great ditch digger back then, so there was some buzz.
The world over.
Local
Local
buzz.
celebrity.
The local buzz. But would never go to a movie or even to like an arcade or out to eat. I'd have to like recruit. I could remember like the biggest bummer of my life would be, it'd be like Sunday night. Remember that feeling of just out and out dread on a Sunday night? It was for, 10 years. Oh God, probably, more, 13 years, whatever, 12 years. It was return to school. Maybe the first year and a half it wasn't. But for me, it was either all out dread on a Sunday night, school tomorrow, I hate school. And then that gave way immediately to a dread job that started Monday morning. And they were all, school was, 8:05, and that was early enough. And then I went right into construction. That was 7 a.m. And that was like earlier and and I would sit around in my apartment, when I was 19 or 20, and it'd be Sunday at like 7:15, and I'd just be sitting there going, oh. And I go, God, I got to do, like, I got to see a movie. Let's see a movie, and I would call everyone I knew, going, come on, let's see. And I'd hate it. They'd go, I got to go to work early tomorrow. And I go, or school or whatever. And I wouldn't go.
Wow.
When does that kick in for everyone? For me, it was around 4th grade. The first early years were.
Does what? The dread?
The dread of school. The dread of
4th grade sounds about right.
Yeah, it's about right.
I think I remember telling you guys that even back when I lived in Pennsylvania and I was in like going to a Quaker school and when I was like in kindergarten or first grade or something like that. I did when we ran into Teacher Doris at that supermarket. I was 6 and I saw her and I was like, ugh.
No, you're supposed to be excited when you're 6 to see your teacher.
She ran in and then he ran to my mom and they had a little exchange and then she started talking about me being behind. And I was like,
that's not cool.
How do we, it's basically a marathon, but we haven't, the starter's pistol hasn't gone off yet. How do you get behind before we start? I was behind before we began.
That's not cool.
Yeah, I was behind in like 2nd grade. I remember my teacher told my mom that. My mom was like, how behind is it? And she said, if the school lit on fire, Chris would be the last one out.
Wow.
Wow. That is behind.
That hurt. Yeah.
That's slow.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it just got cemented in with Teacher Doris at that supermarket in Pennsylvania, and it's all been downhill since then.
She sealed your fate.
She sealed my fate. I was just like, ugh. But still wouldn't go out to eat or to a movie alone. I would call everyone I knew and would beg them to go with me.
I prefer it.
Yeah,
good.
Give it a shot. Just give it a shot. Let us know.
No,
I'll do the hot dog thing.
I've had to do.
Let's all step out of our comfort zone.
I told you when I drove my Catholic little brother and his friends to Knott's Scary Farm back in the day, I wasn't going there and back to Buena Park.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to be the old dude who's chaperoning them. I said, you guys got like 6 hours in this park. I was just in, I don't know, Buena Vista or I don't know where the hell it is. But
Buena Park.
Buena Park. I just sat at a diner for like 2 hours, sat there alone, and then just went and saw Get Shorty.
Oh, wow. Not bad.
Alone.
There you go.
It's a nice little me day.
Yeah, Dawson, if you look up Gina, if you look up Get Shorty, it had to be 95, late 94,
95.
Early 95. That's about the time I had my little brother and had nothing to do. I just made it into K-Rock, but I wasn't. I was able to probably cop some tickets from K-Rock.
Oh, yeah.
For
These
Not
were freebies.
Scary Farm.
Yeah. These were part of a sticker stop.
That's what it was. All right. No, we got to eat your feelings
Yeah,
here?
we do.
All right, let's do that.
Check out the Water Cooler podcast, everybody.
Gina is getting her offerings going. Brian brought the macadamia nuts in
buddy.
From Hawaii.
From Maui.
Now,
Well, I assume they're made somewhere.
I don't know if anyone's searched, but as I said, first off, nuts are a mixed bag. And
go on.
Vinny, when you talk to Vinny Tortorich about nuts, there's not much of a rhyme or a reason. Like when it comes to the dietary stuff, everyone loves lasagna, and then Vinny will go, yeah, it's full of carbs. And then you go, I get it, but I love it. And then there's other things like broccolini, and you go, I get it. Nuts are, peanuts are bad, but macadamia nuts are good, but pistachios are bad, but walnuts are good. You wouldn't really instinctively know which one was better than the other.
You need a chart.
And if you said to me, well, what's the worst nut to eat on a Vinny diet? I would say, I don't know, macadamia nut seems to be the best nut. They're amongst the best. So do yourself a favor and get some. But I am telling you, the big size over at the Costco,
oh boy,
not as good as the Manaloa.
Oh yeah, those
the
are
wine
straight
ones.
from
There's
the islands.
something better about them. And they're a little smaller. And the Maui onion one is fantastic. And if you get that shit, it's a little hard to find. I was looking for it online, but you get yourself a nice chub pack sack of the regular and then the Maui onion. If you're feeling like you need something or you're getting ready to cheat, just take a handful of those. Satiation Highway.
You guys are in luck because there is Maui onion, Hawaiian sea salt, and one more out there for larger packs for everyone.
Fabulous.
Love you.
All right.
All right, intro.
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Ryan.
Was about to
I know you're about to eat.
I was about to dig into the food. Here we go.
Eat Your Feelings. Brought to you by Abuelito's Sauce.
So this very cool little company approached us, and they're called Abuelito's Sauce. They do marinades, they do rubs. You can put up the picture I took last night, Ben. And I was like, yeah, I want to try this. A lot of really interesting stuff with like a super Caribbean flavor. Those are pictures I took of our dinner last night.
Nice.
And
kebab.
Yeah, we did kebabs. And so this cool guy, Wendell, he's not like a food guy. I think he's a cop, but he entered this like sauce competition and he won. So it's called Caribbean Heat, and they have a bunch of stuff, but that's the one that you guys are eating today. And it's like not too much sugar, like not bad. Like I thought this was a good one for the show. And they were talking about like, oh, it's almost football season. Let's do wings. I'm like, we have a wing thing on this show. At least it's hard to eat and it's a messy. I like a kebab. I did the skewers, and you can tell there's 3 different flavors I tried. But this I really like. This is the Caribbean Heat. And it has a little kick.
Just enough spice. If you're spice averse, this will be perfect level.
This is your level. But because of the kick, I wanted to bring in something that, like, it's a blue cheese dressing, but I don't want to do blue cheese with Caribbean food. So I made this really cool, creamy cilantro avocado crema. And it was so easy.
It's really good.
Yeah.
You like it? Now for the cream,
it plays well with the
good. Literally, and this is all on eatyourfeelings.com. Literally, all I did was take a bunch of fresh cilantro, full fat Greek yogurt, lime juice, salt, and avocado, and put it in the food processor. That's all it is.
So good.
And lots of garlic. But this sauce, I didn't have to do anything. I cut up chicken thighs because I think they're more flavorful than breast. And I put it in a Ziploc bag, dumped the Caribbean Heat in, let it marinate for about a half hour. Of course, if you want it to marinate deeper, just do it overnight, even a few hours. And I just kebabbed them. I put them on the spears, and we had them for dinner last night, and it was really good. And this seems like a good like tailgate food.
For sure.
Yeah,
this will travel well.
Yes, and that was the whole point. Like, how can we do this as a like kind of a party, and you can just bring them on the skewers? Let me give you a kebab tip, by the way, that a lot of people do not know. Talk about doing yourself a favor and the people you are serving. I know we all like the pretty picture of the kebabs with the meat and the veggie and the meat and the veggie and the meat and the veggie. Be a pro. Don't give anyone trichinosis. Put the veggie kebabs on one skewer and the meat kebabs on another skewer. They do not cook at the same time. Veggies cook much faster than meat. You're either going to get undercooked meat or overcooked veggies.
Combine them later.
Exactly. That is my helpful tip to you. But otherwise, it was really, I thought it was going to be a whole production, dinner last night. It was easy. Just put them on the skewers, put them in the oven, and put a little broil on them to get that nice candied crispiness on top.
Oh, you do the kebab in the oven?
I did, yeah, because our grill is out of commission right now.
I never really thought about that, but
Easy.
It came out nice.
What I did was I did it for, 15 minutes, and then I turned it over so both would have that nice crispy sort of candied top.
Yeah, it worked.
It was really good. So these guys, you just go to abuelitossauce.com. They have free shipping if you buy from the website. They sell on Etsy, by the way, and I know from some Etsy. They have it on Amazon and Etsy, but you get the free shipping if you do it from the website. And on TikTok, Abuelito's Sauce Company, I really like them, and they sent me everything, and everything's really good. So go to my website for the kebabs and the crema, and happy eating. It was really fun to make.
Oh, there you go.
Brought to you by Abuelito's Sauce. Check out abuelitossauce.com.
Nimesh Patel, yes.
I don't know the name of my own website. The food's so good, I was caught in a frenzy. I said eatyourfeelings.com, which I tried to get and couldn't. It's grain-free-comfort-food.com.
And it is good.
Yeah, well done.
Very well done. And yeah, just the right amount of heat.
A little something.
All right, Nimesh Patel, comedian, writer, will be back on the show right after this.
Nimesh Patel on the Adam Carolla Show.
We got a super trooper. Welcome back, Nimesh.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks for having me.
Got a stand-up special called Thank You, China. It's available now on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
So what's the new world order? It used to be HBO, and then it was Showtime, and then Showtime, then HBO, then Netflix, and now it's just Wild West.
I think it's if you can get it however you can, that's what it feels like. You know, don't just because this shit is on YouTube, don't let me mislead you into thinking I didn't try it at all those other places. It was just swing and misses at those places, and so I was like, all right, well, I got to put this out, and here we are.
But there used to be this sort of patina of, well, they must have tried at places they wanted it, and now they ended up on YouTube or wherever, and they were there because it wasn't good enough for HBO or wasn't good enough for Netflix. But now there's a part where you go, no, this guy's saying shit that they didn't want to hear, so maybe I want to hear what he has to say. Or it could be that it just sucks. we don't know for sure. But what I'm saying is at least now there's sort of plausible deniability. Before you just ended up off of Netflix because you weren't good enough for Sundance is turning into that. The Oscars are turning into that. It's sort of like it used to be not good enough. Now it's like maybe they said something that the panel disagreed with.
I think the what's it called, the criterion that these places judge by is either becoming more apparent, or people are thinking that there's a criterion that these places judge by, and therefore that what you're saying, they shift to like, oh, this guy was probably saying some wild shit and he didn't want, that's why he's on YouTube or whatever. For me, it was more, here's if you watch it, it's like probably the best produced special on YouTube right now because I shot it at HBO and Netflix quality specs, so that they couldn't deny it for technical reasons, and then I just put it out. That was it.
Where are we at in the intersectional hierarchy with Indian? I'm a little confused. You know, well, you got. Used to be black was kind of the top of the pyramid in the intersectional hierarchy, but then they got beat out by transgender. But you can be black and transgender, so you can get to the top of that. What's getting on a Netflix pyramid, or what's getting nominated over at Sundance, you get top of that. Then you'd move down to Hispanic, except for Hispanics never really cared. They weren't that into it, so it didn't seem to. They needed a publicist, or they just weren't that into it. And then it was weird because Asian, no one really cared about, you know, Japanese, Chinese, but they've made a move over the last few years.
And Indian doesn't get included. I mean, they're Asian, you know what I mean? But in the way we think about it.
Yeah. And you guys have made some inroads.
We've got some inroads.
But I don't exactly know where the ranking is.
I think we're up there with the Asians. I think we're on par with where they're at. We're slightly, or probably a bit ahead of the whites. Sorry to inform you guys.
We hate when that happens.
No, we're perennial cellar dwellers. But
lovable losers.
But then you also realize you can't really, or maybe I'm unaware of this, but you can tell me. If you need to get a little juice in your intersectional pyramid, you've slid down a couple of bricks, then you can always go trans and hop up again. But I don't know about I don't feel like the Indians are willing to squeeze the trigger on the trans.
I know I am not. I know I will be a straight male as long as I can, as long as it serves me economically. And so far, it's been going all right. You know, I feel no need to jump any ladders, any positions, unless Netflix is like, hey, man, if you want to be on our platform and get the big bucks, you got to chop your dick off. I'm like, all right, that's an interesting consideration. Fair. But
yeah,
right now, I'm good where I'm at. I feel comfortable, you know, just on YouTube and creating my own space right now, which is what I've been doing.
You're 36. You've been living with the same dick for most
of
those
hard
years.
To say bye.
Oh, so I was going to work it another direction. I kind of burnt out at this point.
Cornflakes every morning.
It's led me this far, you know. This dick.
Little you know.
This old dick. It's an Isley Brothers song. First Indian descent to right on SNL.
Yes, sir.
That's you know, it's good.
It felt, you know, like I don't want to misconstrue it as anything like the Indianness had anything to do with it. You know, I didn't barge into. I say this before. I said it on stage, but it's not like I barged into Lauren's office like fuck Taco Tuesday. We're doing Tandoori Thursday. Right. It just happened to be. You know, I just happened to be Indian when I got hired. I'm white now, but
Jewish, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's a cool thing to have, like, as a thing to say, man, I'm part of culture in a very, very small and significant way. Like, if some Indian kid is just in love with SNL and thinks he can never write for it and happens to write into Google like any Indian writers on SNL, it's like, yeah, this one guy was there for a season, fucked it up for the rest of y'all. You know?
I think the Indians have definitely raised their cultural game in the last several decades, for sure. Like, black is cool, but when I was growing up, we had Dr. J. I mean, the coolest people of the 70s were Superfly, you know what I mean, and Shaft, and we had a bunch of cool black guys. Indians were not cool out here in the 70s and 80s. They dressed weird. Their hair was parted weird. They've upped their game culturally a lot.
And winning universal and worldwide beauty pageants.
Oh, yeah.
Hottest
They've gotten so much hotter.
Hey, man, we figure shit out very fast. You give us any amount of time to study and we'll learn. We'll learn your people.
Oh,
they just need to crack the book on it.
That's it. Cool book.
Yes, sir.
So, let's see. Do we have dates for you? Yeah, Brea. Coming up, Brea Improv.
This weekend, Brea Improv.
That's right. And also, you can, I'll give out the website in a second.
Please.
So, also wrote, and I think we talked about this, but you were discovered by Chris Rock.
Yeah, I would say, Chris was the first person that I was of Chris's caliber to be like, hey, man, this guy's funny. And that was, 2015, summer 2015.
How did he happen upon you?
My friends Michael Che from SNL and our other friend Mike Denny, who's a music producer now. It's like West Side Gun, so no small producer. We used to run a show called Broken Comedy in Brooklyn. There's a place called Bar Matches, which is now closed, but still hasn't been shut down because people with money just bought the place and do nothing with it. You assholes. Anyway, we had a show there, and Chris was coming to see someone else by the name of Langston Kerman, a very funny comic, head writer for a bunch of shit. And Chris was late. Langston couldn't go up. I saw Chris walk in. I was like, I'm going up. And I went up, had like a blackout set. And in that, I don't remember how it went very well. Like, I just kind of went into like, got to do all the A and just went into that. And then 10 minutes later, I was off stage. Chris said I was funny. Told me I was funny. I was like, you're Chris. And that was it, And then 3 months later, I got an email saying, "Hey, come write for the Oscars." I was like,
"Damn,
that's fucking crazy."
Oh, really? Just based off a 15-minute set?
12, yeah.
12-minute set.
Yes, sir.
You guys should talk a little Oscar writing talk.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you write that line?
I wrote for 2 Oscars.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Whatever ones Jimmy Kimmel hosted. I don't know. I don't know what year it was.
A couple years ago.
Was that fun?
It was the one where they had the mix-up with Moonlight and
and La La Land.
Yeah, La La Land.
Oh, that was recent.
Oh, yeah, it was probably right before you.
Yeah. Oh no, that was after.
Well, you were 2016.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know what year. It was.
Yeah.
So what year was I then, Brian?
Probably a little after that. Good. Then maybe the next 2 years.
Yeah, maybe it was
17,
Yeah,
18.
the next 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forget who hosted the year after.
Would have been Kimmel.
No,
after
Kimmel.
Oh, sorry. I meant
After
for you.
Chris.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Chris 2016 and Kimmel 2017.
Oh
and
shit! So
2018.
we were in the fucking trenches a year after each other. That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I did it for 2 years. I didn't show up, and I didn't really show up into the writer's room kind of thing because I was working. But I would get an email of here's the jokes or here's the things or here's what we wanted to do, and then I would just sit around with my assistant, and I think I told him. I don't know. I told my assistant, I don't know what I'm getting paid for writing for the Oscar, but I'll just give you whatever. But you got to hang out after work, and it was fun. It's fun when you're sort of tell stories and have ideas and go on rants. It's kind of fun when someone goes, make a joke.
Yeah,
make a joke. There's something that is not. There's a more precision to it, and there's a discipline to it, and there's a craft to it, and especially if it's not what you normally do, you have to really stretch out to do
Set a
it.
punchline, set a punchline.
Yeah, it's such a different skill set, and our writers' room was like 20 people, and we were in the conference room of I forget which hotel is like adjacent to the theater, but we were in the conference room of that hotel for like 2 weeks on end. Just trying to crack the monologue, and it was like for the first few weeks we were kind of writing remote. We were just watching all the movies and sending jokes in like weekly.
So you flew in?
Yeah, we flew in like in February.
And they put you up.
Yeah, they put us up, and because Chris was then gonna start running the monologue at the store and all in the belly room, and we went to Ice House in Pasadena, I think, and we were running it then like that. But for the first few weeks, we were doing just remote shit, watch movies, pitch jokes about the movies, and then the nominees came out, and there was no black nominees, and we're like, all right, well, this is all burnt, right? And none of this matters anymore. And now it's like, all right, Chris has the wheel. Who better to shepherd this conversation than the guy to talk about race? And it was just like at that, and then it became a bit more difficult because we're writing for Chris's stand-up voice versus Chris's like Oscar host voice, which was, this movie was about like now it's like, all right, we got to write a stand-up rant kind of for Chris, and that changed the whole thing. At least for me personally, I was like in the room like, I gotta get something on. What the fuck? I'm like, and I think the first joke I told in the room bombed, and I didn't kill myself, and I was like, okay, this could be okay. This won't be that bad.
I mean, there's a bit of a competition because people sort of keep count of whose jokes are getting used.
Michelle Wolf won that competition.
Nice.
She did.
Yeah, she was a monster. She crushed that shit.
Yeah, it's interesting, and then sometimes your jokes get taken and then they slough off, they kind of get replaced with another joke. So you counted, I got 3 jokes in the monologue and then one falls out of the monologue. And it's a very interesting process. And then, you show up that day and you get in your tuxedo. I'm guessing you guys were all in your tuxedos.
All in tuxes in a basement that's half the size of this room. Like a table that was the majority of the room, and everyone's kind of nervous. I brought a bottle of tequila, but no one was drinking it, and it was just like, it was, I think Chuck Sklar, who was his head, John Max, and Michelle, and what's his name? Frank Sebastiano, who were like his main people that were like rotating like on the floor with him, and the rest of us were just in the basement like, got one on, like after the monologue. Yeah, after the monologue, it was just like, all right, well, none of this shit matters anymore. Monologue crushed, and then there's like crack open that Jose and
Cuervo.
Yeah, fucked up.
Chuck Sklar worked on the Man Show for 2 seasons or 1 season.
Yeah, Chuck
I got to figure it out.
Yeah, like he stays working.
Yeah, so we went. So I had I was just thinking about this the other day. So what happened was on the night of the show, you go there the day before, you sit in the audience when they do the run through and everything and make some notes and stuff. Then the day of, you get there at 1 o'clock or noon or I don't know, whatever. But Jimmy, because he's Jimmy, he calls me the night before the Oscars. Maybe it was 3 days. I don't know. And he goes, you got a tuxedo? And I go, no. And he goes, all right, I'm going to make sure I get you a tuxedo. And I said, don't just do the show. Yeah. And he goes, no, I'll get Rodney, the wardrobe guy. I'll get you set up with the tuxedo. And I said, all right, you shouldn't be burning too many calories, but thanks. And then he said, you can come to my dressing room and just change in my dressing room. And I said, okay. It's a tiny dressing room, even for the guy who hosts the show. It's a miniature little dressing room, and it's got everything you'd think it would have, baskets and people buzzing around, and it's kind of a nervous energy, and there's always a lot of business, but you don't want to bother the person because you don't want to get up in their head, and you're changing, and it's cufflinks and wardrobe and everything. And so I went and changed. And then the wardrobe guys, they take all your stuff and they put it in these bags, and they put a big safety pin and they hang it up on the whatever. And then it was a great night, and then went to the President's Ball or whatever, Governor's Ball, downgraded, and went to the Governor's Ball and hung out and saw celebrities and got my drink on and had a good time and everything. And at the end of the night, I went back to Jimmy's dressing room. I still had the laminate and everything I could get in because the keys, I had a designated driver, but the keys, my pants, everything I had, wallet and everything, it was all in the dressing room. And when I got to the dressing room, it had been completely cleaned out.
Oh, shit.
So all of my shit was in the back of Jimmy's town car in the trunk, and he was at the Vanity Fair party, of course. God knows where. So then at 1 a.m., I had to just sit there. I had to call Jimmy. Jimmy's in the middle of the Vanity Fair party after after hosting the Oscars, and he's got to get hold of his Lithuanian town car driver and figure out a way to convey to her that she's got to get the car and drive it back to the theater and find me. And it was a total clusterfuck.
What a humbling moment, but also like a grounding moment it must have been. Just be like, oh yeah, my friend's stuff is still in my car. Like that. To me, I'm at the governor's ball thinking, like, I don't know anyone. There's people on the dance floor dancing with their Oscars. I'm just sitting around like, does anyone realize how crazy this shit is right now? Like I hugged Chappelle for the first time. Like we were drunk. I was like, yeah, Dave Chappelle. He's like, it was just such a surreal moment. But the biggest thing for me was after all of it, I was like, that's it. Like, you know, like you don't want that high to end. You're like, this was like partly my night. This is crazy that this happened. And now
get back in your pumpkin.
Really, that was it. It was Sunday night governor's ball. I'm hanging with like everybody. Like I don't know anybody, but oh, there's Aaron Rodgers and fucking CK and Silverman, all these people. Next day, I'm at the Comedy Store, open mic, eating dollar pizza, hoping I can get 3 minutes at that. You know, like that. It was such a grounding thing for me to be like, oh yeah, this is what the game is. Like, but some nights you're at the Oscars, other nights you're begging for your keys from your friend's fucking trunk. You know?
Well, yeah, or the same night. But it's just one of those experiences.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, you know, everyone talks about the experience of doing things from kind of an emotional standpoint. But it's not like riding a zip line or something where you go, oh, I got that experience.
Yeah.
It's like technically knowing how it works. What is the schedule? What time do you arrive? What time do you arrive the day before? How does the run-through work? Like where's the area where the writers go when they're trying to write jokes on the fly? Like during the course of the show, if shit happens, you have to punch it up right then and there.
Yeah.
It's just, I found it sort of technically interesting after someone has watched the Oscars my whole life.
It was, as someone who like very rarely has watched the Oscars, it was cool to be part of that moment when I wasn't jaded at that point about the things that I've done or things that I'm doing. And hopefully I don't grow to be at any point. But in that moment, I was like, I remember distinctly thinking I had to tell myself how cool this shit is. And like, I got to soak in every possible second. Like, who's AD? What are they doing? Like, what's the EP doing? Like, how's Chris moving from this place to this place? How's John Max and Chuck Sklar like editing, tweaking the jokes? We had a phone in the middle of the writer's room that night that would ring like every so often. Like Chris needs jokes for that thing just happened. You know, and like that was like a surreal thing to be a part of. Like to be a hotline person, pick up the phone, like, oh shit, we need jokes on, Mad Max or whatever the fuck it was that just happened. You know, that
you should have picked it up with the heavy Indian accent, so they thought it was outsourced.
It was outsourced, you know.
You said you didn't really watch the Oscars coming up. So did your parents care? Did they learn to care?
My parents, I just told this story like to a friend of mine. It's like, well, I remember distinctly calling my parents and be like, Mom, you know who's hosting the Oscars this year? She's like, Oscars? Who's that? I was like, come on. And I told her, I was like, Chris Rock. And she's like, oh, that's that guy that you like. And I was like, yes, Mom, it's Chris Rock he's hosting the biggest movie show of all time, and I'm writing for him during the year that it's going to be one of the most watched Oscars because of this giant controversy that's happening. She's like, oh, that's great. And that was it. You know, like to me, the Oscars was secondary to the fact that I was working with Chris. Like that was like the craziest thing to me. Like if I go back to the Oscars, if it's not with Chris, I'm just gonna be like, it ain't shit, you know, like, you know.
Yeah, I told Jimmy that right after the second one. But he,
right after the salad.
Oh, and then he got slapped. Wait a minute.
I was gonna say, did you have any communication with Chris after that?
No, I did not. I remember I was in the green room at the Addison Improv on Sunday night, and I just turned the Oscars on just because I knew Chris was gonna be doing something, and I saw it happen. You know, like I'm sure if you were watching, you obviously all saw live happening, but in the moment, I was like, "That's a weird bit that they did." Like that first 5 seconds, because the slap was so well delivered, it looked fake.
Yeah,
right. You know, it was just like a crossbody, like
stuntman choreograph.
Exactly. It was, and like the guy's suit didn't move, like with, like impeccable tailoring kind of fucking slap. I was like, "There's no way this is real." And then when they cut the audio feed, comes from the technical learning of it. Oh, they cut the audio feed. That means this shit actually just happened. Like they don't know who to put the camera on. They're figuring this shit out. Control room's probably going crazy right now. That's when I knew it was real, and it was in that immediate moment. I was like, "Fuck!" I literally said out loud, "Fuck Will Smith!" Like that was my immediate reaction. Like, "Fuck this dude!" He was just laughing. Now Jada gave him that glare, and now he's gonna be a macho man all of a sudden, slap his friend on live TV like an asshole.
Well, can we blame you for the Jada Pinkett joke from the years before?
Right,
that's where the beef started.
That's right.
That is true, right? And
that's what I heard.
That's fucking so fun.
Please tell me that was your joke.
I wish. No. I don't even know which movie jokes we made after the monologue happened at 2016 Oscars. It was all like, who gives a shit about what's going on after this? You know, it was like Chris was always like, the monologue is the only thing that matters. Everything else is secondary. People remember loosely, but everyone remember the monologue.
Yeah, that's a very good point. They all remember the monologue. Everything else, they almost don't attribute to the host.
Yeah.
They attribute the monologue to the host, and sometimes solely. Like it's like, I mean, I know they're out there alone, but they don't realize there's a room of writers. You know, and they go, "Oh, that joke he wrote was super funny about it." So you get sort of all of it in the monologue, and then later on, it's like traffic copping. People don't really remember.
Yeah, when we pull
that.
clips, it's the monologue and acceptance speeches.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think everybody thinks of it.
Yeah, and it's always jokes and throws, you know, after that. But again, they never almost get counted. Like you would much rather have a killer monologue and a super crappy rest of the show. It would go down as a great, as you did a great job.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, let me hit Dave, and then we'll roll into some news. We've all been tight on cash unexpectedly. Sure, it's the economy we're in, people. You need some cash if you're living paycheck to paycheck or struggling to make ends meet. Unexpected expenses can be really stressful. Dave can help. Dave, it's a banking app that can help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. That's money. Fill your tank, buy yourself buy a wedding gift, or catch up on bills. No interest and no credit check needed. Millions have already downloaded the Dave app to get financial relief with extra cash. If you're in a pinch and you need some extra help, download Dave. It's a helping hand from future you. It's Dave, right, Dawson?
Download the Dave app from the App Store right now. That's DAVE. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Future you will thank you.
All right, let's take a quick break. Back with the news right after this.
Well, we do have some breaking Stallone news, and hopefully this is something we can ask him about this weekend when we talk to Kyle Dunnigan. He and Jennifer Flavin are divorcing after 25 years of marriage. Flavin filed a petition for dissolution of marriage and other relief from the Rocky actor. He's 76. On Friday at a court in Palm Beach County, Florida, Stallone and Flavin's 54. They married in 1997. Through their relationship began in 88 at a restaurant in Beverly Hills. They have 3 daughters, Scarlett, Sistine, and Sophia. Stallone's also the father to Sergio from his previous marriage to Sasha Zach. His oldest son, Sage.
Wait, is he all S's?
Yes. But Sage died
I hate that.
in 2012, and I don't know what the circumstances were. So, I mean, I could look it up quickly, but that was with his wife at the time, Starlyn Wright. In a statement to People, Stallone said, "I love my family. We are amicably and privately addressing these issues." A lot of S's.
Yeah.
I was reading, literally on the way here, my friend texted me, or in our group chat, about Sly getting a tattoo of his wife changed. And it could change to like their dog, the dog from Rocky.
Really?
Yeah. And he was like, no. I was trying to get my wife's face retouched, but it didn't work out, so I turned it into a bull mastiff.
Like when Johnny Depp went from Winona Forever to Wino Forever.
I wonder if you can Botox a bicep if your wife's face is getting a little long in the tooth. You know what I mean?
Doesn't match anymore.
Yeah, get her teeth whitened. Just go through all the procedures.
Make her look like what I want her to look like now. So.
That's right.
How do you ever get sick of Sylvester Stallone? I would never.
Can't be done.
I would never get tired
You'd
of
never
living with that
divorce
man.
Sly.
I would never go anywhere.
You couldn't go the
so
distance.
obedient.
25 years. You already went that far. Just fucking wait till he dies. You know, he can't have that much more life left. All those roids and shit.
I hung out with them a little bit and talked to her. She loved horses. He loved horses. You know, they went horseback riding together. Seemed to have a lot in common.
Not enough.
They loved horses.
I'm looking really quickly.
You rarely meet a couple where like someone hates a horse and the other loves a horse.
Yeah, that would be doomed from the start.
Most people are either indifferent or they love them.
Well, you can't have a partner that hates horses because horses are very expensive. So I think that would cause quite a rift if you're blowing all your money on horses.
Yeah, they loved horses.
Sage, according to People, died from a prescription overdose.
Oh.
So,
How
and that
old
was 10 years ago.
Oh, boy.
And he was 36 at the time.
I kind of remember this. Yeah, I remember this story now.
So, again, we can follow up with Sylvester about the divorce, maybe. You know, if he wants to open up about it. Maybe not. Might be touchy.
There's going to be a pre and post fentanyl OD discussion with parents, meaning if you died of prescription drug overdose back in the day, you were a junkie. Now it's the one pill that he got at a party and it had a chunk of fentanyl in it. That parent gets to hold their head up high. They'll tell the story. They went to the party. His friend handed him something. Next thing you know, he's flatlining. But back in the day when you died of prescription, that was a long battle with multiple substances.
And you knew you were taking a handful of something.
And he had a bunch of Dr. Feelgoods around town, and you're taking handfuls of shit.
Yeah.
Your parents' relationship fell apart because of your opioid addiction. And
now it's like we were at a concert, everybody was dancing, everybody had Molly, and he just went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. So there's a new twist, I guess, to this whole Elon Twitter thing, and gotta hand it to the guy. He was probably right all along, at least according to an expert. He just got this big boost in his legal battle with Twitter. The company's former head of cybersecurity says the social media giant misled the public and government agencies about the security. It's this dude, Peter Zatko, that goes by Mudge. He was fired in January, but is widely respected in the cyber community industry. He even went on record saying he could take down like every government website in 30 minutes. Like he's like one of those like hacker brain dudes. He says he was told to keep a major security report from Twitter's board and to write misleading security documents. He filed a complaint with the SEC, the FTC, the Department of Justice last month.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, Mudge's complaint alleges that the CEO of Twitter, quote, knows very well that Twitter executives are not incentivized to accurately detect or report total spam bots on the platform. That's the issue that is at the crux of Musk buying Twitter, and he's saying that's exactly what happened. Meanwhile, Twitter denies these allegations and calls it a false narrative.
Well, companies are never really going to police things that behoove them financially. No. And back to prescription drugs, and Brian was around 25 years ago, although Brian came on a few years after that. But I'd say, Dr. Drew, all these guys taking Vicodin. Come on, that's got to be helping the drug companies. And you go, absolutely not. I go, why not? You're treating people taking 50, 100 pills a day. And they go, they don't want any part of this. And I go, why not? They're in the business of selling Vicodin. People are addicted to Vicodin.
Moving units.
So they're moving units. How could that not be? They're not in. So they either say it's not happening or they look the other way or whatever it is. And at some point, the emails and the discovery and the paper trail, and we'll figure it all out.
Right.
But there'll be some version of this with Pfizer and vaccines and the government and stuff. It's everything.
McDonald's and people who eat McDonald's every day. I'm sure they put out a thing where it's like, "Way we respect the health of our." Are they fucking kidding me? They want people to eat there every goddamn day.
Yeah, the trans fats.
Mayo's definitely addictive.
Cigarette companies saying nicotine's not addictive. I mean, what if it financially benefits the entity? Be prepared for. They run their business. Nobody knows more about it than they do. They don't. They're not in the business of being caught off guard with information. They'll know it, and then at some point, they'll do some discovery, and when they do the discovery, then they find the emails and the correspondence that says they knew about it, and that's when everyone gets fucked.
Well, and that's why it's so interesting, of course, hindsight being 2020, that Drew would say that, because people are like that. So if individuals will look the other way to get a little extra, why wouldn't a group of people who are literally in an industry to make that happen together? You know, individuals do it every day.
I think he's scorned and bitter and angry now.
Good.
This was young, naive Dr. Drew,
totally
where he would
Dr.
just
Drew.
kind of go, these are drug companies. They're here to help. You know, they're not
right.
trying to hurt people. You know, he held his profession in a different esteem.
I get it.
High esteem. And now I think
and I respect him for it.
He woke up a little bit.
Yeah. So we have an unintended consequence that, I mean,
But by the way, here's how you can know everything. By knowing nothing. I know nothing. That's how I know everything. Dr. Drew is a physician who prescribes these drugs. He knew nothing. I know everything because I know nothing. I just was going, why wouldn't you want to sell more Vicodin if that's what your business was? And he kept telling me, with his board-certified addiction medicine specialist, he was explaining to me why it wasn't, because he knew too much.
Right.
It actually fucked him.
clouded.
It fucked him up a little bit.
Too much of the journal saying it's not addictive. It's just, and then you're just like, okay, if they say it's not, I'm going to trust my fellow people. But obviously,
yeah, because he's prescribing it for the right reasons. He's looking through the eyes of somebody doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah, but it also kind of gets back to like when I used to wet the bed way too long, way too late in life, and you know, I think my mom would be reading a book on psychology, going, he's expressing himself through urine, you know, this is pent up rage or whatever. And my old grandpa from Hungary would just wake me up in the middle of the night and go, psst, pee in the bucket. And I'd pee in the bucket. I never wet the bed when I slept at his house because he didn't know anything.
Right.
He just knew I pissed about 4 a.m. So he brought a bucket.
Catch it.
Yeah, that's knowing nothing versus reading about it and educating yourself and getting up in your head about it.
Makes perfect sense. So let's talk about an unintended consequence of wearing masks for COVID protection. Crime, and we've seen how many smash and grabs have we seen now with people in complete face coverings that we're used to now seeing in face
bank
coverings?
Robbers just blending right in.
Exactly. Fraser Ross, he owns Kitson. That's the upscale boutique chain many are familiar with here in LA.
I buy all my scarves there.
That's right. He has banned face masks out of concern for the safety of his staff and assets of the store. That's according to a sign he posted on the window. He says the move was prompted by employees who are scared of thieves with covered faces targeting stores all around Beverly Hills. The ban applies only to the flagship store on Robertson because that's where all like the good shit is, all the most expensive stuff. The shop is one of 5 Kitson stores, but Ross described it as the big store with all the valuables and now no masks. And he's kind of a character anyway, and he kind of likes to mix things up. But I get it. I mean, we have broad daylight smash and grabs on Rodeo all the time, it feels like.
There's something it's too racist to talk about, but here it goes.
Please.
We got into a big battle over the hoodie. Like, you're not a criminal just because you're wearing a hoodie. You're allowed to wear a hoodie. You can be a young black man and wear a hoodie and whatever. You watch all the carjackings, all the smash and grabs, all the sock the elderly Asian woman in the subway. It's full hoodie, full mask.
The uniform of the mugger.
Right. Yeah. So we kind of fucked ourselves because we went, it's not illegal to wear a hoodie. You should be able to wear a hoodie. Who cares who you are? And you have to wear a mask. Between the mask and the hoodie, man, you are scot-free. Now, we used to kind of do a thing where if you were going to try to pull something off, you had to dress like it, and then that was a tell. You had to pull a stocking over your head or something.
That didn't really do much.
But
No,
you go hoodie and mask, no one's going to say anything to a young black man like wearing a hoodie. You can't say anything to anybody about wearing a hoodie. And then you got the mask on. That's encouraged.
Yeah.
And now if you take a look at the uniform of all the smash and grabs, it's mask and hoodie. And then how the fuck are you going to identify somebody?
That's why you just got to go full hoodie mask combo like the KKK. It's just one giant
Yes.
thing.
One piece of
Full
wardrobe.
beekeeper.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
That's right. This is something that is now coming into fruition. And again, People are protesting it. Not everybody, some people. The LA City Council has voted to ban homeless encampments within 500 feet of schools and daycares during a meeting that was disrupted by protesters who said it was bad news and criminalizing homeless people. ABC News says a second and final vote will be needed. But supporters of the ban said homeless camps are a health and safety threat to school children, especially because of the disruptive presence of people with drug addiction and mental illness. But there are many who oppose the bill, even showed up to cause a little chaos during the vote, saying it's unfair to the homeless to have them relocated. And there was a whole crew.
Look, isn't it the easiest move ever if you're homeless to move?
That's part of being homeless.
I mean, anyone who's ever packed up a house, it's a pain in the ass. But if you're homeless, you just pull your sweatpants up and start walking.
Pull all your stuff in that
all
little
wheels anyway.
You got
giant
a
blanket.
shopping cart right there.
But you should keep the homeless in front of the schools to let the kids know, hey,
This could be you.
it could be you.
There
Yeah.
before the
Fucking
grace of
study.
God.
You don't start saying ugh to drugs and nope to dope. It's going to
Ugh to drugs.
and nope to dope.
Never heard that.
Jesus.
My son fucks it up all the time because I go, Sonny, tell him what your dad says about drugs. And he goes, don't get high on your own supply. And I go, not that one, you idiot.
That's later.
I told you don't say that one. I said say ugh to drugs and nope to dope.
On a very special episode of Saved by the Bell, it was There's No Hope with Dope. That was a really good episode. When Johnny Montana or Johnny Dakota
Smoking it in the bathroom.
tried to get Kelly Kapowski high and everybody clutched their pearls.
This is why all these PSA companies need a Chris Rock, Jimmy Kimmel-esque writer's room, because when one of the writers, Chuck Sklar throws out, how about ugh to drugs? I think we can beat that, Chuck. Not your best work.
No.
We're not even going to write that down.
You okay, Chuck?
See if we can beat that. Let's see if we can beat it. They even go, oh, that's awesome. Let's just run with
rhymes,
this.
we're done.
Yes, no. You would go, we can beat the shit out of that rhyme.
There's
That's
two
right.
people pitching ugh to drugs.
Right.
God damn.
Well, we have some really good news. HBO has picked up a 12th season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Can I say this? Somebody says,
Ugh.
can we move the homeless encampments within 500 feet of a school? And there's a group that is violently against
Yes.
that. I would argue
To them as an affront.
we shouldn't be listening to you on any subject ever again. If this is where you you're taking your stand here. This is where you take your stand.
Yeah.
It might have just been the homeless people. Like, nah, we can't
Yeah,
move,
we
man. We got signs for days.
That's why
We got the cardboard.
We're staying.
By the way, homeless people, it's really how bad it is because they are physically moving now. They have plywood shelters that they built themselves.
Oh, yeah.
2 stories.
Right. Homelessness, a homeless guy was called a bum. He had his rucksack and he literally never stopped moving.
Ride the rails.
Yeah, he would just sleep at
King
the
of the
park,
road.
clinging the rails. He was all over the place. He didn't have a home. He had a home. Like, how are we going to move our home? Your home's on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Someone think about this.
Yeah, your theory about, you've been saying it for years, say free cockfight for Raider fans and round them up. All the people that show up to protest, you got to take somebody home with you. You got
You
yourself
got to
a
take
new
somebody
roommate.
home.
Put them on your yard.
That's right.
That's right. Right.
So great news about Curb Your Enthusiasm for Curb fans. 12th season coming 8 months after season 11 aired its last episode. HBO has more or less just an open door policy with Larry David and fellow executive producer Jeff Schaffer. If and when they have ideas for a new season, it's just on, whatever they want.
Open invitation.
Yeah. Although Curb Your Enthusiasm shot and then discarded a death scene for Larry David to end the previous season, both shows and its central character still alive for the next one. No word on when it'll begin filming or when it'll premiere. At 11 seasons, which, by the way, has spanned 20 years and 110 episodes, the show is HBO's longest running scripted or outlined and improvised series at this point.
Love that show.
I love it. It's just like, shoot a death scene. Maybe you want it. Maybe Mr. David doesn't want it. Like, whatever you want, we'll be here.
And they do something. I feel like the last 3 years they've done this strategy. I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but I wait and I wait and I wait, and then it comes back and I get all excited. And the first episode, after I watch it, I go, not quite up to Curb snuff. Not quite as funny. and then they hit you hard with the second one, and you go, they're back. And I don't know if that's they're trying to just sort of dovetail you into it. I don't know if they want to come out guns a-blazing.
Set the bar too high.
You don't want to come out with your funniest one first and then have the second and third one be a little bit of a letdown. But in the last few seasons, I feel like the first one or two, I've went like, it's not as good as I remember. Maybe my hopes are too high. And then they start getting better.
I think there's a phenomenon where your memory of something, let's say Curb Your Enthusiasm, over the last 19 years and 10 seasons, your memory isn't of every moment. It's of the best moments,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So you've idealized this series to the best 10 minutes in your mind. And then when there's a new episode, and it's, there are funny parts and there's whatever filler parts and funny parts. It doesn't match
Yes.
that sweet, frosting,
Yes,
the
I've
previous
made a
19.
mosaic of the best moments in my head, and the first episode won't live up to it.
Ever.
I'm so far behind.
Are you?
Season 6 or something. I haven't watched it in fucking forever.
They're always good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's timeless to me, but
Well, apparently to HBO.
yeah.
Just come back whenever
They
you
should
want.
bring back Veep.
Oh my God.
Everyone
great.
loves
Veep
Veep.
is fucking
Veep
brilliant.
was, I think, my favorite show. Almost
a really
always.
Totally
It's
agree.
So fucking funny.
They cram so many jokes in.
It's brutal.
It hurts to watch it. You're
Yeah,
laughing so hard.
I've never seen it. Everyone says it's
God, it's
fantastic.
so fucking good.
First 2 seasons are, ridiculous television.
Talk about come out like guns blazing with jokes.
Yeah,
and- yeah, it's
I
great.
think I watched an interview with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and she said that was like she wished that the show was on forever. Like that was her fucking. I think she did with Letterman, the Letterman Netflix thing that they did. She
Why
was
not
like,
bring it back? And plus, with Kamala Harris,
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, she's worse than Veep. Like, Veep's back in the zeitgeist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Yes,
should.
you love it. The jokes are so fast. It's really funny.
and the mean.
Oh,
and
my God.
dirty. It's so good. It's so fucking funny.
I think this is from the first scene. I don't know why it just seems so out of place. I'm still laughing about it. I've watched it years ago. It opens with there's this rampant case of diarrhea going through the White House and all this chaos. And somebody's quoting one of the senators that says, "May God show mercy on my boxer shorts." And I'm just like, this is how they start the whole thing.
It's fantastic. The way the number of ways, I'm sure there's like a Reddit thread on how many different ways they've called someone like a bucket of cum. Just
Oh, my
like
God.
a billion different inventive ways to call someone an asshole. It's fantastic TV.
It's great. But for the young kids, they don't care about TV. TV's
Pail
for
of
old
jizz
people.
just off the top of my head.
That's one way.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Let's scoot over to TikTok. You're a big fan, right?
I love TikTok.
Well, guess what? You might be their case study, and you don't even know it.
Really?
Because some on Wall Street, these analysts say that it is literally not just like it's this on steroid. It is literally as addictive as crack. Calling the platform, it is an addictive drug in itself. Even going so far to say that TikTok will ruin the internet. Why? Well, according to the analysts, like crack, watching the videos is this instant high that wears off really, really quickly, causing the user to seek out another hit and another hit and another hit in the form of a new video. And the reason the analysts see this as a problem is because TikTok's popularity, other social media platforms are going to start doing, well, we need a really short thing that just gives you a hit and a hit, which they believe will further shorten people's attention spans. And from where they sit, hurt the digital advertising business because we're only going to pay attention for 3 seconds.
How does one partake in TikTok?
Oh my God.
I've never been
You
on
mean
it.
like watch it or have an
That's
account?
just the oldest man thing ever said.
Yeah.
Pops Carolla.
How much time you got?
Not interested.
I'll show you in a minute. It's
I
literally-
almost feel the same way about TikToks I felt about video games. Like
Yeah.
it's like somebody goes, kind of felt that way about heroin. They go, you're either going to not stop throwing up, or you're going to feel better than you've ever felt. And I'm like, I don't want either. I don't want either one of those things. I may love every second of it,
Bless you.
or it may give me gas, but I don't. I felt that way my whole life, or most of my life. People are saying, you gotta watch Call to Action 3, or you gotta play this, or you gotta do this one, or whatever. Medal of Honor 7. I'm like, I don't want to get into it. You don't get it. They go, it's so good, you won't be able to stop. And I'll go, I waste enough fucking time watching Dragnet at 5:30 in the morning.
They call it TikTok jail when you're sitting on your toilet swiping and you don't realize like
you lose time.
2 hours have gone by and you've stopped laughing. You're just watching shit. And as someone who's a direct beneficiary of the algorithm and how TikTok is addictive, that's why the special is named "Thank You China" because they invented TikTok. It is. I can see that it's addictive like crack, and I cannot wait to have to not use the platform because it's definitely like breaking people's minds.
But do you go up and do you like pick a category? Do you follow some of your favorites?
I don't use it at all from that like content consumption perspective. I just put shit out, and it's not even me anymore. It's my social media team that does it.
Selfish.
Yeah.
It's fantastic at what it does, and if it's designed to shorten American attention spans, it's doing an amazing job.
And isn't TikTok the perfect name for it? Like your fucking life's just ticking away.
Yeah,
watching this.
You're on the clock.
Yeah.
It used to be a sound, you know. It used to be just it was a song, and now it's how I built this last 2 years of stand-up comedy on the road.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah, not reading or looking at stuff has saved me a lot of seat time on the commode.
Lingering.
I found somebody sent me something. I don't remember. It doesn't matter what it was, but I found myself looking at it as I was hitting the toilet yesterday. And at some point, I realized I've been on the toilet longer than I've ever been on the toilet. My toilet move is I almost bounce off it. I just hit it, drop it,
quit
and
it.
Boom.
You wait till the last second.
They didn't shit it.
I do what the Enola Gay did with the Hiroshima, Nagasaki. I drop it and I peel off into the clouds. And I look back at the destruction and the humanity left behind.
The mushroom cloud.
People frozen in time. But I just drop it and I peel off because I look and I realize that people spend the most time. I think they're taking a long time to shit, but it's not that. They're reading the sports page and they forgot what they're doing there. It's become a porcelain sofa for them.
Totally.
That's what TikTok
Do not bring reading material into the commode.
Smart.
Get yourself motivated.
That's right. And to show that I share your sentiments, I'm not into video games. It's not my thing. I got a husband and a stepson who love everything that Mario's ever put out. But I voiced several video games, and people will tweet me and go, "Hey, like, what's the best way for Rose and her scarf in Street Fighter?" I'm like, I have never played this game. I love doing voiceover. I love that you love it, but I'm not your guy.
Sorry, I thought someone was
No, you're like
I was really curious.
Booth.
Yeah, exactly.
At the time, like, you didn't play the game.
Exactly.
All right, let's bring her home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. May God show mercy on my boxer shorts.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, last but not least, there's Geico. Do you own? Do you rent your home? Well, sure, you do one or the other, and it can be hard work. Well, it's easy bundling those policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your automotive policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. So you go to geico.com. Get a quote and see just how much you could be saving when you get your bundle work in at geico.com. Brad Williams going to join us tomorrow, which is a good thing. I'm going to be at Wise Guys this weekend doing comedy and doing live pods there up in Utah. Nimesh is going to be at the Brea Improv coming up as you hear this tomorrow and Saturday. Well, this weekend. How about that? And Twitter and Instagram at Finding, and I'll spell it out, Nimesh.
That's clever.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Finding Nimesh.
Yes, very funny. Thanks for joining us again, my friend.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
And until next time, Sam, for Gina, and Nimesh, and Bald saying mahalo.
All right, to the older player, the rookie's like, "What are you doing this weekend? What are we doing? What are we doing?" He's like, "I'm going home to my family and my kids." It's like, remember we were running up and down the stairs of the stadium and everyone was going to puke? That was my vacation.
That's my day off. When you have little kids,
day off. When you have little kids, you're like, I gotta go
When
home.
I'm with my kids, I'm thinking about running up and down stairs and
thinking of
puking.
it